Hey, this is Trish, Causey here for today's video, and today was supposed to be the first installment of Spirit and Science Sunday, but it's not going to be exactly what I had intended. I had everything that I wanted to talk about. I knew what I wanted to say, and I'll probably say it all next week, next Sunday. But today has been a very hard day for me. It's been a tough day, and I just didn't want to put on any airs or pretend things are okay when they're not, because as a theater person, if I want to pretend something, I'll go on the stage and do that. I don't see the need to do that here. I don't want to do that here. I'm just going through a lot of things right now, and I feel like I'm at a breaking point, and I know a lot of people who are at the same kind of breaking point, and it's never fun to go through. And I'm at a point where things that I'm going through, I know they're going to get worse before they get better, and I know that you need a break down to have a breakthrough. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy to go through. So I really don't want to be a total downer with this video, but I don't want to pretend anything either. So one of the things that I'm reminded of is an Indian goddess, Akhilandeswari, whose name means never not broken. And I first heard about her several years ago, and she goes through the universe riding on the back of a crocodile, and the crocodile represents fear, and fear of change, or a fear of things falling apart. And so here she is, the goddess of never not broken. She's never not broken. She's always broken, and that's okay. And so there's a cool lesson in that when you feel broken, you can take that as an opportunity to let the pieces fall where they may, because once you've gone through that breaking process, you get to put your pieces back together how you wanted them to be. And I think that's a lot of our problems that people face, is trying to be something they're not, for people that either don't matter or don't care enough about them to let them be who they really are. And, I see a lot of people, including myself, just struggling to hang on, struggling to just make it through. And it's really hard when you know that there is something better down the bend. Like today's Sunday. I have great things happening on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, but I've got to get through Monday and Tuesday first. How do I get through Monday and Tuesday? And they seem like the longest days. And here's Sunday, and since Friday, I've been dreading Monday, and it's how do you get through those times that are the most difficult, especially when you know there's good stuff on the other end. I've lived for years working and not knowing that there was anything good on the other end, but I still was able to work toward my goals and the things I wanted to do. Now what I'm finding is that I'm at a point in my life where I don't know what the end is. I don't know what the result is going to be. And that's the first time in my life where I have not had a clear path. And that's one of the things that's very scary. That fear, that crocodile. Even when I was miserably married and had to give up a career to raise my daughter, there was still always that hope of theater and Broadway and all those things that I had wanted and loved since I was a kid, because that was my goal. Never get married, never have kids, be on Broadway, win Tony Awards. That was my life. That's what I was going to do. And when I 25 years old, finding out that I have a daughter on the way was a little bit of an interruption to that. But I kept going and kept the dream alive. I became a composer because I just had to be creative. I had to write. I had to create music. And so I accomplished that. And now the reason why all of this is kind of surfacing right now is because my daughter is going to graduate high school in a year and a half. And so in a year and a half, I will be free. She's 18. She'll be kicked out of the nest and kicked out into the world, so that she can live her life and learn her life lessons that she needs to go through whatever karma she's got to work through this lifetime. So in a year and a half, I'll be free. And yet when I look at what's waiting for me in that year and a half from now, I don't see anything. I don't know what's there because the journey I've traveled is so different than what the journey was for so many years before I, had my daughter, and even the journey when she was younger and still had the dream. I'm too old to start a Broadway career now, and that's now. I'll be even older in a year and a half. And the thing is that I could be very happy living at a yoga ashram in India. I've actually been looking at different yoga shalas in India, even California, just to keep growing and learning in a different way. And so this is the first time in my life where I don't know what the answers are. And that's part of why this breaking down that I'm going through is so hard, is because in some ways I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know really what I want to reconfigure myself into when it's all over, and that's very scary. And so I'm almost at that point. Maybe you've experienced this yourself, where you can feel the walls closing in. You can feel everything you've worked for starting to crumble around you. And this time you don't want to fight. You just want to say, okay, and just sit there and let it crumble, let it fall, let it do what it's going to do because you're just tired. That's kind of where I am on some things. The irony being that I have some really great prospects and some really great things that are happening right now, and some really great things that are in the works right now. But there are just some bigger things that I just can't seem to get a hold of and control. And I used to be a huge control freak. I was such a perfectionist because perfectionism and control are just manifestations of insecurity. And so now I am totally secure with my insecurities. But it's been difficult, mainly because of the responsibility of being a mother, and now being a single mom for several years. And now that responsibility will start to wane. In a year and a half, she won't need me as much. Well, she says she doesn't need me right now anyway. She hates me. I'm the worst mother ever, those kinds of things. So, year and a half, you're free, kid. It's what I tell her. Year and a half, you don't have to put up with me at all. But in that year and a half, I've already started looking and searching and questioning, well, what am I going to do? Who am I going to be then? Because I can't just jump back to who I was when I was 25. I know too much now. I've learned too much by now. And so anyway, so I'm not enjoying the breaking down process. I am the walls crumbling, the everything. It's difficult, and you don't have all the answers. And the main problem is that I don't value the things that society says you should value. Things like money and status and having materialistic things. I just don't value them. And so because of that, I don't value money. I don't value things. I don't need fancy things, don't want them. Couldn't pay the insurance on them if I had them. So it's very difficult when you value things that are intangible. Like, I value the arts, and I value music, and I value storytelling, and I value compassion, and I value human rights. These are things that will never get me anywhere in a materialistic society that we live in. This society is capitalist based. It's your value is based on what you produce. It's about manufacturing, and what you produce per hour. It helps set how much money you make per hour. And when you don't produce physical things, you have little to no value in society. And so, I don't place value in a lot of the things that society says we should find important. I just don't. And in a lot of ways, never did. And so I'm just in that phase right now where I'm just trying to figure things out. And part of me says I shouldn't try to figure them out. I should just allow the breaking down process, break down to have the breakthrough. And as long as I'm in control, I'm insecure about things. I'm riding that crocodile of fear. And so it's, just trying to figure things out, and just trying to hold on, just trying to keep it all together, at least till my daughter's 18. And then I will just have a complete break from society, and I'll just go live in a tent in the woods and live off the land and do yoga and write musicals. Yoga and musicals, that's going to be my life, I think. Well, I kind of already do that, but the situation will be completely different. But I don't know. So today, these are just some random meandering thoughts. I know other people who are going through similar breaking down, riding that crocodile of fear, and experiences. And so sometimes I guess you just have to let go and allow yourself to be never not broken, at least for a while. So, all right. I will try to get back on track tomorrow. I promise. I promise. All right. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.